second part is about adventure related stuff, which might look like they are unnecessary, but why you should do those stuff, and some other things which you can do once you have time left, and which will definitely help you for future content. I will pick up with something or start with something which is related to my previous guide or info video, which is the raid. So this is a grid which we had for in Korea, and this is for the weekly raid gear. This is the weekly raid gear. We might have slightly different numbers required, but basically what you need to know is once they release in January the weekly raids, we can craft the weekly raid gear. And weekly raid gear, if you kill the weekly guardians, there are you have to kill like 3 or 2 guardians, usually 3 guardians in 20 minutes in the same area, and you will get orbs. Those orbs with the first weekly raids you do, you can craft the base gear. Similar to the current guardian system which we have, you can craft with the first guardian the base gear. To polish the gear, you need materials from all the previous tier guardians. So I would recommend you, even if you are on tier 2 or later on tier 3 or tier 4, if you have time left, do every day 3 orbs. As you should know, you have every day 3 orbs for each tier. Do every day 3 orbs on the previous guardian raids. You have the numbers here, or here are the total numbers needed to max out all the gear. So you need 7 hearts, 35 whatever that is, and 45 feathers from the first guardian. So I don't know, for like 3 or 4 days you do the first guardian on tier 1 and you have those mats. Move on to the second guardian, and you do that for all the raids. That's what I would recommend if you have time left. And once you have all those collected, you can still farm those guardians and the mats, which are like, you know, the additional mats which you get. You can go to this guy here and exchange those for Mark of Godan and exchange that mark for rune boxes. So it is definitely worth it if you have the time to collect the materials from previous guardians. And keep in mind that all those guardians will reappear in weekly raids in a harder version, and if you keep practicing those in the lower gear, it will be easier to kill those in the harder version because you know the most of the patterns. Next thing is songs. So I would recommend you to unlock all the songs if you don't have it. Most of you guys most likely have it. You can write exclamation mark guides or check out the Google Doc link down below, and there is a song guide. Why are those songs necessary? We will get later a lot of island related events which will give you insane amount of mats or like rare mats, and you have to use some songs pretty similar to the island Sleeping Song Island which we already have, and that one will unlock you the Song of Minute of the Forest, this one. So this is something which you should definitely have before we get the West Sea unlocked. Then we have the masterpiece. Let me get the image of the masterpiece. So masterpiece is something which you can find through leveling up affinity with certain NPCs. There's one masterpiece which can be randomly obtained by diving, and one from scavenging and sea activity. There are some in adventure. For example, if you check here, burn 70% will give you one of the masterpieces, and you should try to collect as much as possible if you have time. Because especially for those boxes here, you will get them if you collect like a certain amount of masterpiece here. For 26, the next one which I will be able to obtain. And if you open the box, you can choose one of those 4 items. And I would definitely recommend you to go for Mark of Black Tooth if you guys try to already collect those materials. All those materials are rare, but some of those are even more rare than the others. This is the easiest one to get. You can farm it easily on shipwrecks. This one is also pretty easy to obtain through scavenging, sea activity. Souls can be kind of farmed on ghost ships and through some Epona's dailies, and there is also an NPC which will give you a certain amount of those through affinity leveling. But this one is pretty hard to get and really RNG based. And I would recommend to go for this one if you need it. There are some exceptions. For example, if you are playing a Blaster might need this one more, because you need to collect, I think, 500 or more of those to unlock a really good engraving for that class. Next, we have the Island Hearts. Most of you should already know what the Island Heart is. You have to do specific stuff and you will get Island Hearts for each of those islands. Not all the islands have an Island Heart currently, but most of them do. And by collecting Island Hearts, you will get at certain threshold certain items. The most important two items, in my opinion, apart from the 4 skill points which you get here, are those two. This one is a sailor, which is mandatory for ghost ship events, and especially if you want to grind the tier 3 ghost ship. And that's what I want to explain to you why this one is important. If you get the sailor and equip the sailor, you will have resistance to Dead Sea. Without this sailor, you won't be able to reach this spot here. This is where currently the only tier 3 ship spawns. The ship will sail around this island, and you can only enter it or go to it if you have that particular sailor. So get 20 Island Hearts, get the sailor, equip the sailor, go here. Some of you might ask why you need to do the tier 3 ghost ships. And I explained it in my streams when I did, like, the last few days I farmed it pretty often. First, you will get souls, which I just explained on Masterpiece. Those souls are pretty cool to have, and 50 of those souls are needed to unlock Starlight Song. So that's already one reason, and there are also a lot of other rewards which you can get or exchange for on the Starlight Island for those souls. That's the first reason. The second one is you get the book Initiative. Initiative is a book which is a hidden gem and will make cube runs a lot easier, especially for some DPS class. What Initiative does is, if a mob has 100% HP, you will guarantee crit the mob and you will deal increased crit damage. So basically in Cube, you group up the mobs, you do some one burst kill, and the mobs will just explode. So that's an underrated book, which is already high. Like, it was at the beginning pretty low on price, but it's going up and up because people are realizing how much worth the book is. So second reason, the book. Third reason, even more important, is the sailor. There is a really rare chance to get a purple sailor, and that sailor will give you immunity to the debuffs which you get. If you do this ship here, tier 3 ship, for the first time, and by the way, I would recommend to do that if you are at least 360 item level or higher and with a party. If you don't have the sailor initially, the specific ghost ship sailor, you will have a debuff on you. It will slow you down, it will slow your attack speed, you will take more damage and deal less damage. Which means you will struggle, and don't do it once again solo, otherwise you have to waste a lot of feathers because you will die a lot. But once you get to sailor, which is a purple one, he will give you resistance to the debuff on the tier 3 ship. And not only that, he will also give you more damage and less damage taken. And that sailor is not only important for tier 3, it is also important for the content which we will get in January, which is the Ghost Ship calendar event, which is a tier 4 Ghost Ship. And that's the most interesting stuff, and why I would recommend you guys to farm the Ghost Ships. There are 10 channels, and the respawn time of Ghost Ship is like 1 hour, so pretty long. It will be hard to get those ships currently, but it will be even harder later because people will know about the tier 4 ship event and how important the sailor is. Once you have the sailor, you can go for the tier 4 Ghost Ship event in January, and it will be a really hard event where 30 people will fight against the boss on a ship, which appears only a few times per day usually, in a week. And you can get on that event the Ghostship, the actual Ghostship. And if you are not a fan of Ghostship, you can sell it for, I would say it could start at 300k gold and higher. So prepare yourself. That is one of the stuff. If you have time, get the 20 island heart, get the sailor, farm until you get the purple sailor. You can even if you have the purple sailor, you can keep grinding the tier 3 ships. Why? It doesn't consume luck, and it will give you around about 15 to 20 pirate coins per run. So it is a easy way to get pirate coins without doing any sea activities which will consume luck. Yes, and the last thing is there is an even rarer chance to get a legendary sailor who is only for the Ghostship. I mean, if you don't have the Ghostship, you won't be able to equip that one. But that one is good to have if you should be lucky later and have a Ghostship. You can slot the the legendary sailor on it. It's a ghost sailor. Now, that is the Ghostship part. What else do we have? Let me. I think I went through the most stuff, but Oh yeah, Mokoku seeds. This is also something which a lot of people don't like to collect, including myself. Why should you do the Mokoku seeds? 400 Mokoku seeds collected will give you the fastest ship which is currently available. And then on 525 you will get the tier 3 shipwreck sailor. Tier 3 shipwreck sailor. Let me give you a path which will help you to get to certain stuff faster. You unlock the ship, you get the tier 3 sailor, and if you get the sailor, you can equip it on the ship, and that one will give you the tier 3 shipwreck, which means if you farm shipwrecks, there are a lot of spots where shipwreck spawns, you will have a higher chance to get ancient stones. Ancient stones are those items, you should know those already because you need 10 of those for Song of Resonance. You can exchange ancient stones on Pyro-Shift here at this NPC. This NPC has also a lot more other stuff to offer for ancient stones. One of them includes a tier 3 scavenging sailor. So if you collect 200 of those, which should be pretty easy, if you have the tier 3 shipwreck sailor, in a few days you will have 200 of those. You can exchange it for a tier 3 scavenging sailor, and scavenging will give you a lot of crew tokens, or increased amount of crew tokens, which might be later used for better or different sailors. So that is one of the things what a lot of my guildmates did to get fast to those crew tokens, and it's definitely worth it. Okay, that was a lot, and as always, if you have any questions on stream, you can ask it now on stream and later on YouTube in the comments. Thanks for watching or listening.